husband, everybody. Wasn't she funny? What a fucking bore. Holy shit. But you know what? I do love that Stewie character on your show. He's great. You made all your money because you created a fucked up criminal baby. You're like Michael Lohan. How cheesy is this dais? How cheesy is this dais? It's not a roast, it's a melt. Jerry Springer, George Hamilton. Look at these no-talent success stories. The devil has signed so many deals with you people, he's got carpal tunnel syndrome. Pam Anderson is here, everybody. I hope this isn't too direct, Pam, but God, I've jerked off to you a lot. You've caused me to spill more seed than Muhammad Ali at a bird feeder. Pam, you have
There's a compliment there somewhere.
Jeff Ross's big mouth is here, isn't he? Jeff, what the fuck? You looked adorable in those little shorts and everything. You look like Andrew Dice Gay. How fat do you plan on getting? You're fattening up faster than you're aging. You're like the curious case of Benjamin Glutton. You bloated hack. Your jokes are so old, they know who George Hamilton is. George Hamilton, you're like Tang. You're dry and orange and no one has given a fuck about you since 1968. Hamilton, you're like a walking tumor. Not exactly, it's a big deal when you spot a tumor. Of course, it wouldn't be a roast without Pizza Lampanelli here, everybody. Lisa Lampanelli. Good to see you, Lisa. I've never seen a circus bear in a pantsuit before. And you know what? Lisa seems very confident, but she's actually not. She's very sweet. She was telling me backstage that she had knots in all 4 of her stomachs. You are one fat lady. You have more chins than a Chinese fat chick with tons of chins, because she's so fat, and also a cunt. And speaking of fat cunts, Hulk Hogan's here, everybody. How about that? Hulk. People say you're balding. You're balding in the same way that Jeff Ross is fatting. Hulk, I can't imagine why your wife left you. You're an old man who dresses like a Hooters waitress. Keep your shirt on, bitch tits. You're 80. You had a reality show called Hogan Knows Best. It should have been called Hogan Grows Breasts. Jerry Springer, good to see he slithered in here today. Springer, you cultural sodomite. You have fist-fucked our civilization like Gilbert's uncle on Valentine's Day. You're an aide to Bobby Kennedy, which probably explains your connection to Hasselhoff. I guess you like to hang around guys whose careers end on a hotel floor. That's a good fucking joke, everybody. It's what we call roasting. Anyway, I'm sorry if the meanness is piled up, but that's what we do here. And now, on to the man of the happy hour. One more hand for the Hoff, everybody, huh? David Hasselhoff, what a legend. Hasselhoff's sitting on a lifeguard chair because that's what you're most known for. I guess when we roasted Pam, she should have been sitting on a dick. That is quite a tuxedo. You look like Adam Lambert's prom date. You're huge in Europe. You're even knighted by the Queen of England. She dubbed you cirrhosis of liver. Hasselhoff, have you ever not been drunk? You used to have a car that started when you talked to it. Now you have a car that won't start when you blow into it. You're such a drunk. When alcohol does its taxes, it lists you as a dependent. You starred in Jekyll and Hyde on Broadway. Give him a round of applause for that. It's excellent acting. You played a normal guy who drinks something and then turns into a raging, abusive asshole. What impressive range. Maybe for your next big leap, you can go out for the part of washed-up, drunken cheeseburger eater. Hasselhoff, you drunk fuck. You drink a lot, right? Your liver is so shriveled, black, and dead, if you put your ear to your side, you can hear it go, "What you talking about, Willis?" Your liver... Hasselhoff, you're a good man. You're a good dad. Congratulations on being honored here tonight. I know you're taking a lot of shit. but you're not going to remember any of it. Let's face it. It's what does it matter. Thanks.
Our next roaster needs no introduction because no one cares who he is. Please welcome Greg Giraldo.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thanks a lot. Ron White, isn't he drunk? Everybody, give him a hand. Seriously. Oh, it looks like Nick Nolte let himself go. How about a hand? Before I get to Foxworthy specifically, I want to talk about all the blue-collar guys. These guys are they're like rock stars. And by that, I mean old and boring and loaded with syphilis. The tour grossed $15 million. $15 million. You know, this is at a time when your fans have so many other entertainment options. You know, they could have stayed home and burned a cross or their sisters or, you know what I mean? They had other choices, you know, but instead they got all gussied up in their best Who Farted t-shirts and they jumpstart the El Camino and they take the hard-earned money that they made on an extra shift working a Tilt-A-Whirl or robbing a liquor store and... You know, this is money they could have spent on abortions or crystal meth, and they come out, they make an extra effort to come out and see you guys. Now, speaking of abortions, good to see Larry the Cable Guy here. Jesus Christ, get her done. I saw Larry at the beach because we hang out at the beach, me and Larry, and I saw. From behind, all you see are rolls of fat and clumps and patches of hair. Your back looks like Lisa Lampanelli's. Seriously. Good to see Bill Engvall here. Bill, he's a prolific bastard, man. He's got 7 comedy CDs out. Without Bill, Sears would have no comedy section. 7 CDs. Bill, did you ever think of just saying something unfunny without recording it? Now, my friends from Tough Crowd are here, of course, Colin Quinn, and I noticed recently Blue Collar TV took over Tough Crowd's time slot. And the network told Colin that viewers had a hard time understanding anything he said, and so they replaced him with Larry the Cable Guy. Now, my buddy Nick DiPaolo's here, and, you know, a lot of people say Nick's just a big, dumb guinea. Anyway, on to our guest of honor. Mr. Jeff Foxworthy, folks. You know, Jeff has always been an original and an innovator. You know, back when everybody was doing corny observational comedy, Jeff came up with the idea of doing it in a southern accent. Very original. It's a good twist. You are to comedy what Wayne Brady is to black people. I've seen you dance. You ever watch that Blue Collar TV when he dances at the end? Holy remember how G.E. Smith, how spastic he looked on Saturday Night Live? You make him look like Baryshnikov on ecstasy. You look like a Special Olympics at the finish line. You've always stayed cutting edge, man. You really have. With that Keith Partridge haircut and that ferret growing on your lip. Jesus, that mustache should come with ass chaps and a nipple ring. What are you thinking? With your wardrobe and that gay walrus mustache, you look like one of the Village People on Casual Friday. You look like a guy Tonya Harding would in a 78 Nova. You put out 11 books, including a cookbook. You got greeting cards and slot machines. You're like the redneck Martha Stewart with a smaller. You are a billionaire. You're like Donald Trump without the funny TV show. Seriously, Jeff, though, you're a giant comedy star. You deserve your success, and look, you made enough money that you don't have to live in the South, but you choose to. So you're the real deal. Congratulations, man.
All right, our first roaster tonight is Mr. Greg Giraldo, which is the most insulting thing you could possibly call someone. He's going to make you laugh, and then you'll forget him. Please welcome the hilarious Greg Giraldo.
Thank you, Tranny Bonaducci. Kathy, you look like Ronald McDonald Lucille Ball's corpse, then pushed it down a flight of stairs. Holy shit. What's with all the surgery, Kathy? Lord, you've been stitched up thousands of times, but you're still sad to look at. You're like the AIDS quilt. What a night! A couple of trolls, a fairy, and a giant all going after a sunken-eyed little monster who's obsessed with jewelry. It's like the Lord of the Rings. The great Carl Reiner's here. This is very exciting. Yes. Carl! Carl, you're a legend, and you're awesome in Ocean's 11. But seriously, why would you do a movie with Brad Pitt and George Clooney? You're ugly when they're not standing next to you. Brad Pitt and you, it was like Beauty and the Deceased. You are such a comedy icon that Joan named one of those shitty watches she sells on QVC after you. It's the Carl Reiner edition. It's got liver-spotted hands, and it's running out of time. Robin Quivers. Robin, you look like a syrup bottle. And I don't mean to sound crass, but you must have an enormous p***. You're like Aunt Vagina. Seriously. Mario Cantone is here. Mario, you are one tiny loudmouth fairy. You're the only guy who takes a stepladder into a glory hole. Your father must have been devastated when you came out of the cupboard. Brad Garrett from Everybody Loves Raymond, huh? Holy shit. You are a f***ing monster, Brad. How'd you ever get your head so far up Ray Romano's ass with those bolts in your neck? And Whitney Cummings is here for some reason. I guess since Kathy and Joan have huge gay followings, we needed someone with no following. Whitney's a girl who obviously knows the answer to the question, hey, who do you have to blow to get on one of these roasts? And speaking of degrading yourself sexually to get ahead in show business, Tom Arnold is here. Tom, it is great you could take time out from being Roseanne's ex-husband to be here. Tom, you twitchy spaz. Joan actually named another one of her shitty watches after you, too. It's the Tom Arnold that never stops ticking and used to come in a giant hairy box. And finally we get to comedy legend and irritating Jewish lady. Gilbert Gottfried is here, everybody, huh? Gilbert! Holy shit, Gilbert, you look like you smell like pee. And Gilbert's famously cheap. I'm impressed you're here, Gilbert, you know, because, when you do these things, you got to buy new clothes, you got to take a week off from work, but you showed up, you tightened your belt, and you came. You're like David Carradine. And, yeah, a sympathetic figure, if ever there was one. And now, it really is my honor to talk about comedy great Joan Rivers. Joan Rivers, everybody. This is exciting. Joan, you are one irritating Jew broad. The first time I heard your voice, my foreskin fell off. What have you done to your upper lip? Did you blow a beehive? Holy shit. The last time I saw something that inflated, it was floating over Yankee Stadium. You look like Steven Tyler f***ed a life raft. Seriously, you're not the only one here. All these rubber-faced monsters. What the f***? What goes into people's heads out here? Why? Did you really? Is that good? How much worse could your real face look than that clown mask you've had welded on your head? You used to look your age. Now you don't even look your species. You once said you succeeded by saying what everyone else is thinking, and that's not true. It's not true. I never heard you say, holy shit, what the f did I do to my face? I look like a surprised catfish. Joan, you really are an absolutely incredible talent. You're absolutely hysterical. Every comic I know respects you. That's the God's honest truth. Everyone thinks you're hilarious. I think you're the best. And at your age, you're still relevant, still cool, and shit, you even got a boob job just a few years ago. You're every man's dream. And by that, I mean every man that dreams of titty fucking a crocodile. Thank you very much. Congratulations, Joe.
The Comedy Central Roast of Joan Rivers is brought to you by MGD 64.
Our first roaster this evening is Latino funny man Greg Giraldo. As a regular on all the Comedy Central roasts, he is one step above the guy who cleans up the puddles at the porn theater. Please welcome comedy's cruel joke, Greg Giraldo.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. Lisa Lampanelli, keep it going for that guy. Wasn't he funny? Seriously. Wasn't he hilarious? I love the pink camouflage, Lisa. You're like General Fatten. Holy shit, look at you, you fat. Who knew Lane Bryant had an army? Lisa actually has a lot in common with that Octomom, that woman that gave birth to all those babies. She's never given birth, but she has had 80 fingers inside her at the same time. Look at this pack of slobs up here. Gary Busey's here, kind of. How about Gary? Yeah. Gary, I guess, flew in from Lobotomy Island. Jesus, Gary, you horse-faced lunatic. You look like Nick Nolte the Clydesdale. Your teeth look like a row of urinals. Look at yourself. Every time you talk, I want to piss in your mouth. And I don't, Warren, what the hell are you doing here? Holy shit, Warren was great on Dancing with the Stars. He came in second and then celebrated by dragging his partner to the top of the Empire State Building. It's great to see Toby Keith. Toby, I'm glad you could take time out from spitting on Mexicans to be here, Toby. Toby, you put the big in bigot. I loved your last song, Get Out of My Country, you camel jockey, wetback, faggy Jew. And, Marsha Brady's here, Maureen McCormick, huh? How about that? Holy shit. Marsha Brady. You wrote in your book that you used to trade sex for drugs. Holy shit. As a kid, I used to fantasize about having sex with you. Who knew all I needed was an 8-ball in a bus station bathroom? And speaking of bathroom stalls, where's that redneck fruit, Jeff Foxworthy? There he is. Jeff, you look like Magnum P.I. with AIDS. My buddy, Nick DiPaolo's here. Nick, look at you, you big, hunched-over guinea. You're like Fonzie with spina bifida. And Reno Collier, I don't know who or what that is. I don't know. I guess he's part of that next wave of lowbrow dipshits that'll make me want to kill myself. Or maybe he's just here so Lisa Lampanelli wouldn't be the only fat lesbian hack on stage. And now, on to Larry, the cable guy. This is exciting, I gotta tell you. I've never roasted a fake character before. Maybe next year we could roast SpongeBob SquarePants. Larry's whole act is a sham, like the Bible or the Holocaust. Some people say Larry's only successful because he's pandering to the lowest common denominator and blatantly and non-ironically exploiting people's racist and homophobic tendencies. Don't listen to these people, Larry. They're just bitter and jealous and right. You inbred hillbilly. You've been inside more farm animals than Purina. You're like the Trojan army. You're big, patriotic, and you both came inside a giant horse. You gravy-sweating cousin. Larry his first cousin when he was 16, and his last one about an hour ago. You lost 50 pounds on Nutrisystem and another 10 when you shaved your back. How the are you so popular? Jesus, Right, this one finally broke my back. Your fans can't even afford cable. They're not coming because they think you're funny. They've never seen a cable guy. You could have come up with other characters your fans have never seen, like Larry the dentist, or Larry the librarian, or Larry the high school diploma. Thanks for letting me roast you, Larry. You make more money in a week than I'll make in my life, and that feels good, I gotta tell you. You say you've never done drugs, but watching your success has put me in rehab twice. So, thanks for ripping my soul out, you hillbilly.
Our first roaster tonight is part of our very successful Invite a Random Person to the Roast program. Here's a fun game to play. While he talks, see if you can count how many times Pam says, "Who the fuck is that?" You know him from Tough Crowd with Colin Quinn, and that's it. Please welcome the virtually anonymous Greg Giraldo.
Thank you, everybody. Jimmy Kimmel, isn't he doughy? Really? Isn't he about to be canceled? Keep it going for Jimmy Kimmel. Wow, that was great, Jim. I've never seen you be funny on TV before. Jimmy, how the hell is that show still on the air? That wasn't a premise to a joke. That was a real question. I don't want to say nobody watches it, but more people have seen Dennis Rodman reading. Let's see. B. Arthur, of course, is here. Hello, B. And it's great to have you here, a living legend. And actually, you and Pam have a lot in common. You were both the quintessential feminist icons of your day. You both were very successful, and you both blew Kid Rock. By the way, Pam, Kid Rock wanted to be here, but he got stuck in a 20-year-old. What? Kimmel, why are you on TV? I don't know why I'm coming back to you, but why are you on TV with that moon face and that stupid cleft in your chin? Or as you call it, Adam Carolla's jizz cup? Carolla, look at you, you horse-toothed bastard. Carolla, you got a mouthful of 2x4s. Every time you smile, I remember to waterproof my deck. Carolla's an Italian word. It means one eyebrow. Have some dignity and stick to radio. You look like Pete Sampras with Down syndrome. And I'm, The Love Lines. Only in America. What a crappy show The Love Lines is. Yeah, teenagers calling in to complain about their abortions and their anal warts. It's like listening to the messages on Andy Dick's answering machine. Now, speaking of anal warts, good to see Courtney Love here. Courtney, what the hell happened to you? You had a great band, you're a very talented actress, and your career dried up faster than Sarah Silverman's pussy around guys who can't help her in the business. Good to see Eddie Griffin. Of course, Eddie Griffin. People said there wouldn't be any big movie stars here tonight, and they were right. Tommy Lee. Of course, it's tough to slam a guy for having a huge cock, but we've all seen the sex tape, Tommy, and I know the camera adds 5 inches, but Jesus. Your cock is so huge I had to fast forward the tape to see all of it. My 5-year-old son walked in as I was watching it. Great, now I got to explain why the pretty blonde girl is being stabbed with the harpoon. Of course, that brings me to Pam, the beautiful goddess. Hi, Pam. Pam, I love you, Pam. I've been a fan of yours for so long, but I got to say, watching you in that sex tape was like a whole new experience for me, because up until then, I'd never seen anyone get gonorrhea before. That was weird. And I worry about you, Pam. What's up with the implants? They're in, they're out, they're in, they're out. Yeah, you've had them in and out so many times. They're not contact lenses, Pam, they're tits. You've been flattened out and reinflated more times than Jeff Ross's prom date. You're the best. You're the best. You're a vegetarian, but you have no trouble swallowing a moose cock. You're environmentally conscious, but you've caused more seed to be spilled in the Department of Agriculture. I've been a fan of yours for so long, and I feel terrible that you're going to get abused here today. Who are these nobodies? Who are these nobodies up here to make fun of you? People like Lisa Lampanelli. I'm sure she's going to come up here and be mean and fat. But you know what? Fuck her. You've been on the cover of Playboy so many times, and you didn't have to fuck Hugh Hefner to do it. You fucked him anyway, but you didn't have to. That's right. You didn't have to. You're multi-talented. You have a TV show. You're involved in lots of humanitarian causes. You've even written 2 novels. You're busier than Courtney's pharmacist. What's with the books, Pam? You have 2 novels out. 2 novels. You've now written more books than you've read. Pam, give up this being a novelist crap and stick to what you do best. You never saw Ernest Hemingway titty fucking a rock star, did you? I love your show, Stacked. It shows your range and it proves to everyone that you can masturbate to a sitcom no matter how unfunny it is. I love it. Stacked. You get it? It's a double entendre. Yeah, you work in a bookstore. There's stacks there, and you're stacked, so we call it Stacked. That's hilarious. I love that. Okay, here's the idea, guys. She works in a jewelry store, and we call it Pearl Necklace. What do you think? You starring in a show about books and reading is like Tom Cruise starring in a show about vaginas. All right. Now, I will say this, Pam. I am seriously a giant fan of yours, and, we're going to make fun of you a lot here, but to get to the level you've gotten is true genius. It really is absolute genius. People cannot help but love you. People can't help but love you. You got unbelievable talent, and you're America's sweetheart. You're a Canadian, but those tits were made in America. Thank you very much.
Done all that. Let's get it cracking. Ladies and gentlemen, our first roaster. We're going to get him out of the way so we can enjoy some comedy. Please give it up for Greg Giraldo. Make some noise for him.
Thank you, everybody. Keep it going for Cat Williams, everybody. Isn't he adorable? What a cute little kind of person he is. Holy shit. Cat, you're like Afro Sheen. Some white people have heard of you, but no one knows what you do. What a teeny little pimp. Man, being a pimp ain't easy, especially when you gotta stand on phone books to smack a bitch. This is great. Cat Williams, Flava Flav, Snoop, Ice-T. There's so many black dicks up here, I feel like we're doing this roast in Lisa Lampanelli's mouth. Face it. Ice-T is here. Holy Ice-T, you f***ing fossil. Holy shit. You're so old, the first thing you bought with your record deal money was your freedom. On your first album, the N-word was Negro. Some more is here. Some more when it comes to movies, maybe you should do some less. Soul Plane, holy shit. That was such a horrible embarrassment to black people, Brigitte Nielsen tried to f*** it. Brigitte Nielsen's here. Good to see you sitting up, sweetheart. I I guess you're in rehab, and I really hope that works out for you. But seriously, if you want to stop repeating the disgusting things you've done in the past, why don't you just get your pussy sewn shut? Your pussy's so big, Sylvester Stallone left his career in there. God, you are a big, ghoulish woman. I'm talking to you, Carrot Top. Jesus. What happened to your face? You look retarded. How did you do that? How did you find a plastic surgeon who could add a chromosome? This really is an ugly group of people. Holy shit. Just like giant white women and a bunch of black dudes. I feel like we're doing one of those baby daddy shows on the Maury Povich show. Don't worry, Jimmy, you'll be hosting that soon, too. You just had your appendix out. Apparently you can get appendicitis from being overrated. That was the one that was too much. Overrated. Giant is okay, but don't. Jeff Ross. Jeff, how are you? Jeff just hosted some ridiculous talent show on ABC. A talent show. Where do you get the balls to host a talent? You running a talent show is like Michael Vick running the ASPCA. Good to see Snoop here. Snoop smokes so much hemp he once shit a rope. Snoop, you're filled with toxins, you've killed people, and you've been banned from every country on the planet. You're like Chinese toothpaste. And now, guest of honor, Flava Flav. This is exciting, Flav. It really is. This is an honor. I've never roasted an oily cadaver before. You're like a turd with teeth. Look at yourself. I love the crown. You look like King Lear got trapped in a forest fire. You are one black motherfucker. You're like a skeleton wrapped in electrical tape. You look like Idi Amin after a 3-year crack binge on the sun. All right, Flav. Well, you're the best, man. You're one of the most memorable people ever in the history of entertainment. And I love the Viking helmet. I guess, Brigitte's not the only big, cold Scandinavian thing you've stuck your head into. Thank you, everybody.
Greg used to be a lawyer. That's good. At least he can sue the fucker that told him he was funny enough to be a comedian. Let's hear it from Greg Giraldo.
Thank you, Bob Jeevy.
Shit. Bob Levy, everybody, huh? How about a... Fuck. Bob, I got a lot of respect for you. Very few road hacks can pull off the Holy Walnuts hairdo, but you really Holy shit. You got no career, but you still blow dry your hair every day. When are you going to stop blow drying your hair, fucking Scott Gayo? It's 2006. You have no career, Bob. You make Colin Quinn look like an up-and-comer. Colin, I love you, but you're so washed up, parents now tell their kids to Colin Quinn before supper. Since Tough Crowd was canceled, you've been harder to find than Listerine at Gary's house. You and your twisted sex stories, you've fucked more old ladies than Medicare reform. And, speaking of old ladies, good to see Jackie the Joke Man here. Holy shit. Jackie, congratulations on the new show. That's what America's clamoring for, a washed-up hack yelling Pollock jokes for an hour. And I loved your book, Jackie, How to Fuck Up a Career You Didn't Deserve in the First Place. What you mean? It was a good book, though. Thank you, Geraldo. Oh, you're welcome, Oprah. I guess Greg Fitzsimmons is here to make me feel famous. Holy shit. I've known Fitzsimmons for 15 years. I barely know who he is. And what roast would be complete without Lisa Lampanelli's tired horse shit? Good to see you, Lisa. Usually when I'm this close to a fat chick at 7:30 in the morning, it's because I'm coming out of a blackout. Lisa sucks so much black cock her lips are ashy. No offense, Rob. By the way, I saw Robin and Lisa in the green room before having a who's got the biggest, sloppiest pussy contest. And they both lost to the rolls in Artie's neck. Jesus fucking Christ, look at yourself. Saying you let yourself go is like saying Gary is not classically handsome. You look worse than your chair smells. And how the fuck did you get addicted to heroin? Seriously, you can't possibly have the lung capacity to snort. And you sure as fuck couldn't find a vein in that walrus carcass of yours. You must have just dumped it on your bed and rolled around in it. I'm fucking shaking like fucking Michael J. Fox up here. I'm shaking.
Hard work.
And yeah, Beer League. What the fuck was that? That movie was so dumb. Ebert and Roper gave it 2 thumbs down syndrome.
Thumbs up, actually.
And okay, well, Sal and Richard, would you two just suck each other's cocks already? Jesus Christ, I've seen more subdued homosexuality at a chorus line cast party. You two fag it up more than Bill McGreevy on crystal meth.
Bill McGreevy?
And now to our guest of honor, Baba Booey. Gary, Gary, I wouldn't have missed this for the world, and the only way Howard would have missed it is if your dead father was lying here. Is that too much?
I was busy.
I have a dead father, too. It's not so bad. Gary was molested as a kid by his male babysitter, and there's no shame in that, but it's embarrassing that you believe the guy when he said if you played with your balls, your teeth would shrink. Look at you, that oversized midget head, your fat ass, that ridiculous Cro-Magnon mug, and those stumpy limbs. The only thing missing is a helmet and a drool cup. Usually when I see someone who looks like you, he's being walked to the playground by his 90-year-old mother. Gary. And you know what? I never thought I'd be saying this to someone as hideously misshapen as you, but you're the luckiest fuck alive. Seriously, how the fuck did you become successful? You got to be the one homeowner in Greenwich whose only skills are Mets trivia and flossing with a jump rope. And how does your wife break your balls? I'm seriously curious. How can your wife break your balls? With your limited abilities and those ghoulish looks, how could she think you could accomplish any more than you already have? Seriously, next time she bitches at you, you should tell her, look at me, it's a fucking miracle I'm not in a cage at a carnival. Suck it.
Yeah. Good advice.
Anyway, Gary, you're a great guy, and obviously we're all busting your balls here today, but I want you to know that I really mean all of this. And I also mean this, that of all the no-talent hangers-on in radio, you have the most fucked up face. All right, thanks,
Greg Giraldo. By the way, Howard, that was a well-crafted, clever dead father joke. I totally approve of that one.
You approve of that one?
It was great. It's the funniest joke today.
I won't be saying that later. Wait till Sal goes.
Right, that's what I wanted to point out, what a well-crafted, clever one sounds like.
Everybody having a good time?
Enough of this sappy shit. Let's get on with this train wreck, shall we? He's back again, making his annual disappearance. Please welcome the unknown comic, one of my favorites, Greg Giraldo.
Thank you, everybody. John Stamos, isn't she great? John played the bongos in a Beach Boys video wearing a pink tank top. That couldn't have been any gayer if George Michaels was on your lap stuffing crystal meth up your ass with Rupert Everett's fist. You're on ER now, John. Congratulations. You're like Susie Essman's vagina. You're almost useless, but somehow you keep working. John was married to my favorite supermodel, Rebecca Romaine O'Connell. Jesus. Holy. John, you lost your wife to the fat kid from Stand By Me. Holy shit. Look at you, you greasy Greek bastard. I look at you and I wonder, how can there be an energy crisis? We shouldn't be drilling in Alaska. We should be wringing out your family's pillowcases. Norm Macdonald is here, one of the funniest people ever. Norm's got a giant gambling problem. He's dropped more coin in a casino than Michael J. Fox at a parking meter. It's a roast. Groany, groan. Brian Posehn, look at him, that giant ghoul. We've all seen you shirtless on the Sarah Silverman show. It's hard to believe you can be so out of shape considering how often the townspeople must chase you around with torches. The great Cloris Leachman, of course, is here. Cloris Leachman. Cloris is so old she lost her virginity to a druid. What are you doing here, Cloris? You're the only person with any talent. You won an Oscar and 9 Emmys. When it comes to winning awards, you've been more voracious than John Lovitz at an all-the-you-can-eat buffet. John Lovitz, you gay weeble. Come on, John, there hasn't been a more feminine Jew in the closet since Anne Frank. Susie Essman, look at you, you're a mess. You're like Screech with tits. I guess Cloris Leachman is here to make you seem f***able. Gilbert Gottfried's here. Gilbert recently had a baby. Who would f*** you? You have the sex appeal of a school bus fire. The man of the hour, Bob Saget, everybody. Huh? Bob Saget. Bob, you are a genital wart on the of American culture. Seriously, who gives a shit about Bob Saget? With your long neck, pointy beak, and granny glasses, you're like the Vlasic pickle stork. Except instead of delivering babies, you're not funny. You're like my 7-year-old son. You think cursing is hilarious, and you're not surprised your is the same size it was in the first grade. And where the hell are the Olsen twins? The Olsens are like Tom Green's testicles. They look the same, but one is fake and empty inside, and the other one's been licked by Heath Ledger. He'd be cool with it. I read an interview where you referred to yourself as an artist. Are you kidding me? As an artist? You use the phrase as an artist? You are a vortex of artistic compromise. Charlie Sheen watches you and feels good about himself. You are an artist in the same way Cloris Leachman is moist. You're not an artist, Bob, and stop enjoying your ironic hipness that's going on with you these days. You're not cool. Stop trying to be hip. At one point in your act, you actually say, "Who's your daddy? Say my name. Look me in the eye. True dat." Holy f***, I couldn't cringe any harder if I watched my mom in a Bukaki video. I'm done being mean, Bob. I've met you a bunch of times. You've always been hilarious and super cool, and everybody that knows you loves and respects you. Nobody ever has a bad thing to say about you, and that's particularly surprising because you're Jewish and you're obnoxious people. Thanks a lot for letting me do this. Thank you.
Our first roaster is here tonight only because he's Colombian and Andy Dick needed the cocaine. Mr. Greg Giraldo!
Thank you, Pillsbury Jew Boy. Seriously, folks, seriously, how about a hand for the bald Nathan Lane, everybody, isn't he? Jason, that was a refreshing change. These days, the only time you're funny is on a rerun. You've really tried to hang in there after Seinfeld. You had shows like Bob Patterson and Listen Up. Those shows disappeared faster than a bowl of Percocet at Farrah Fawcett's house. You've been in more turds than Andy Dick's penis. Look at his dais. Fat guys, old ladies, and an Asian. I feel like I'm on a bus to Atlantic City. Look at this. Nichelle Nichols, Farrah Fawcett, and Betty White. I'll take women I would masturbate to 30 years ago for 1,000, Alex. What a somebody get me a time machine so I can crank a couple out. What a cruel joke. 3 women you'd want to 30 years ago, and 1 I wouldn't 30 beers from now. Farrah Fawcett. God, were you a 70s icon. That poster of you in the bathing suit. Holy shit. That poster caused more DNA to be spilled than a crime lab technician with Parkinson's disease. Artie Lang, you fat, drunk slob. Artie, your liver has more holes in it than Mel Gibson's apology. Your liver's so black, Lisa Lampanelli tried to get it to f her up the ass and never call again. Artie, your pal George Takei is here. Sorry to pick on you, George. I know it couldn't be easy being a gay Japanese man in the 50s. I mean, it had to be almost impossible to pronounce glory hole with a Japanese accent. George, you'll be happy to know that Jeff Ross is here. Jeff is such a huge asshole, you won't have to spit on your dick first. To our guest of honor now, the great William Shatner, everybody. Hi, William. Bill, that was quite an entrance. When I heard someone was going to come on a horse, I thought, wow, the network's really going to let Andy Dick and Lisa Lampanelli get away with murder. But Bill, you're not just brilliant and old and fat. You're an inspiration. You prove that having no talent can be seen as hip and ironic. You overact more than Betty White's bladder. Wow. Then, of course, there was T.J. Hooker. The only thing I remember about that show was your hair and that hot chick, what's-her-face, Adrienne Zemed. What happened to her? You're a humanitarian. You work with a foundation to bring peace to the Middle East, and whatever it is you're doing, keep it up. Because it's really working. It's really working. You know, one of the most surreal parts of this business is that I get to stand here and make fun of a legend like you. You're an enormous part of my youth, and you made Captain Kirk larger than life. And really, honestly, no actor who's ever lived could have done more with that role. And the fact that you continue to crank out the best work you've done today, when statistically you should be dead, is really, really inspiring. Thank you very much.
This guy is an incredibly funny comedian. He has been a promising young comedian for over 20 years. Greg Giraldo. Greg Giraldo. Brother. All right.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Brad Garrett. Everybody, keep it going for that giant Jew. You must have had a foreskin like a circus tent. Tom Arnold is here. Huh? Tom Arnold. Tom, of course, he's famous for marrying Roseanne Barr, and pretty much that's it. Tommy Chong thought about replacing Cheech with Tom Arnold. They were going to call themselves Leech and Chong. Tom. Yeah, it's going to keep going. Wilmer Valderrama is here. Huh? How about that? It's like Enrique Iglesias fell in a dryer and came out smaller and gayer. You're so gay, you Lindsay Lohan and made her gay. Ralphie May, of course, is here. Ralphie, you're like the population of India. You're loud, sweaty, and double in size every year. You're the only guy who watches porn and when the guy delivers the pizza. Yeah! High five, with your greasy ponytail. You look like a male stripper that swallowed a male stripper. And, it's good to see that little weirdo Teller here, too. What a freak. Usually Tom Arnold's the only guy in the room who's made a living doing absolutely nothing besides hooking up with a fat slob with a bad haircut. Penn and Teller, you're like the new Siegfried and Roy. You're big Vegas entertainers. You do elaborate tricks, and one of you doesn't talk anymore. Shelby Chong is here. Holy shit, what a hot old broad. Shelby Chong is here, or as Cheech calls her, Smoko Ono. Actually, Cheech has a hot Russian wife. Tommy wanted to get one too, but as a felon, he can't order things by man. Cheech and Chong, just when I thought they were gone, they came back. They're like the herpes of comedy. It's exciting. And what a career you've had, huh? After you split up, Cheech became a big TV star, and Chong went to jail. You guys are like Lance Armstrong's testicles. One of you kept cruising along, and the other one stopped working, was ripped from its home, and finally left to rot in the can. Here's my impression of Tommy Chong in prison. Hey! What are you trying to do? You ruined my rectum, man. I just bought it. Cheech, you love to play golf, and some people say that that's a sellout move for a Mexican-American. That's horse shit. What could be more Mexican than sweating on a freshly mowed lawn with dirty balls and a bag full of weapons? Cheech met Chong in Canada, where Cheech went to avoid the draft. Wow, you're the first Mexican ever to leave the country illegally. Well, anyway, you know what? You guys are the best. I mean it. I love you guys. You've been huge comedy heroes of mine. I'm so psyched you're back. Good. Thanks for having me here. Congratulations.
You know, in the past year, this man has failed on 3 separate television series. 4, if you count how we're going to cut him out of tonight's show. Ladies and gentlemen, very funny man, Greg Giraldo.
Thank you, inexplicable success story. But I'll tell you something, this is an awkward situation for people like me. I mean, what the hell have I accomplished? Look at this guy's a comedy giant. I'm supposed to make fun of him? I can only dream of making 3 good movies and 40 ones. There are no interesting, famous people up here. Look, myself included, I know I'm nobody, but this was supposed to be a big night for me. I was supposed to rub shoulders with big shots. Look at these people. You've been in 40 films. The biggest movie star up here is Al Franken. An OJ roast would have drawn more star power. No Aykroyd, no Murray. You couldn't even have gotten any of those midgets you worked with in Under the Rainbow. They always brighten up a room. Bring down the midgets. We got booster seats. Right, Paul? There's booster seats. Where are the midgets? You could have brought some midgets. The guys from Oz could have them. It would have been a party. But tonight is not about midget f***ing. Tonight is about Chevy. And again, I feel uncomfortable trashing you. You've done things I can only dream of. Only in my wildest fantasies could I even hope to have a 6-week run hosting a talk show that made Arsenio seem watchable. Your show lasted 6 weeks. Sally Jesse Raphael's lasted 16 years. That's got to feel good late at night, huh? Oh, f*** you. I chopped off 4 years for symmetry. Shut up. 20, it felt like 40. All joking aside, honestly, it's a thrill to be here honoring Chevy. Is it Chevy or Chevy? 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 I don't know. I can't. It's a thrill, a comedy icon, and living proof that you could actually snort the funniness right out of yourself. Thank you, and thank you, Chevy.